So let's continue. AD 1983. So it's next year. Okay. Just give me a moment. I gotta adjust. The fourth year of the mysterious Destined Kingdom is also known as Oyashiro's Curse, 1 year after Hojo Satoshi's appearance. I hadn't been able to get used to my new school in Okinomiya, but I had some friends there now. Since I got a part-time job in my relative's store, I had some extra pocket money too. I ended up living with my parents after all, so I didn't have to pay for living expenses. It felt great to freely spend the money I earned from working. I still use the room Kasai set up for me from time to time. It's a convenient hideout for when I didn't want to see my parents. In fact, I was planning to spend a day there today. Damn that teacher! She told my parents I was skipping classes. My dad got upset, and that's why I didn't want to stay at home. I had been asking for it, though. My teacher should know that my dad is a Yakuza and that he gets really scary when he gets mad. On the whole, my life has been going so well so far, except that it was boring. The reason I could enjoy this lifestyle is probably because I had to live in secret before. It was a great relief to be able to live without having to fake my identity. Well, that might have been a valuable experience. I think I learned from it. I was going to the grocery shopping and I thought I'd get enough food for 1 week or so. My parents would appreciate my presence more after missing me for a week. I was doing this for their sakes. You know, anyone ever think about the fact that Shion literally just disappears from her home? And it's just like... And like, how unusual this would be if this happened to any other person in real life. And how genuinely... And God... Anyway. Oh wait, isn't there a 100 yen sale today? Oh yeah, there is. I knew how to save any of my pocket money. I was in a good mood. I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like I was inside a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle park on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow! What the? Who parked this motorcycle here? I gave the motorcycle a kick with no hesitation. There were 3 motorcycles lined up in a row. They all felt like dominoes. It was beautiful and so much fun. Oh, this is odd. I felt like I'd gone through this exact same experience before. While blinking my eyes in an effort to recall what that was, some people grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. It looks like those punks were the owners of those motorcycles, and they started shouting at me. This was really strange. I was having deja vu. The frick are you, bitch? What do you think you're doing, huh? Frickin' bash your head in, bitch. Grah! Gonna pay for what you did. Oh, that's right. This is when I met Satoshi for the first time. He came to save me. If I pretended to cry again now, would he come to save me again? I made a wish. I started pretending to cry and beg for mercy. At that time, I doubted my ears. Cut it out! Can't you see she's crying? It was a boy about my age. I couldn't quite get his face because of the light illuminating him from behind. Satoshi? Of course it couldn't be him. It couldn't be. When I snapped out of my daydream, I realized it wasn't Satoshi after all. He looked less gracious than Satoshi, so to speak. If Satoshi was pristine and untouched, then this guy would have had scratches all over him. But although they were completely different, I got a similar impression from him somehow. What the hell? The fuck are you? You wanna get hurt or what? Fucking say something, son of a bitch. The boy looked a bit taken aback. Ah, well, I just thought you might want to let her go because she's crying, so... Huh? The fuck are you telling us what you do? Whoa, hold on! I'm against violence! What's up with this guy? I felt ashamed that I mistook him for Satoshi, even for a second. He seemed cool at first, but he wasn't as cool as Satoshi after all. I mean, I'm sorry that your motorcycles were knocked down, but I hope you don't feel too bad about it. How could I make you feel better? Of course, we don't have any money on us, you know? You don't got the money then. If you got no money, you got to pay with your brother. This chick got some really nice boobies. Let's over there and see. Hey, are you kidding me? I tightened the grip on my stun gun in my pocket, and I turned it up to the maximum intensity. Don't hold a grudge against me if you die, pervs. I love it when girls get shriveled in porn videos. Yeah, what? They indulge in their imaginations when arouse their spirits. Hey now, why are you perverts closing in on me? Your gross hands. Are you gonna try? Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna read all that shit. Hey, are you out of your mind? Don't touch me with those filthy hands! And then a flash of light cut through the air. Was that the boy? You stupid bucks! Blows like thunderbolts knocked the punks down. Wow, he was actually strong after all? What the hell? You want some, huh? You don't have a clue, idiots! What the fuck are you on about? There's nothing arousing about stark nakedness. Leave your socks on at least, no matter what! That's the ironclad rule! Listen up, monkeys. What's the difference between Homo sapiens and other animals? That's right, humans wear clothes. Human beings without clothes are just animals. If you get aroused only when a girl is completely naked, you're less than human. You might as well be animals. I'm gonna knock some sense into you. Clench those teeth! You mentioned a porn movie, didn't you? Let's say there's a cosplay. What? The definition of cosplay is too broad. The lecture on that subject is difficult as to explain the spirit of Yamano to Yankees. What are the most prominent divisions in the larger history of school uniforms? That's right, regular uniforms, school uniforms, but the sailor blazer style including the uniforms, Egyptian uniforms likewise. And the color person treat white Navy schools and uniforms is the same. Let's say each of you has a preference of one of these three divisions. Hey, you, the tall one. You take the regular uniform. You can take the gym uniform, and you, short one, the school uniform. This in your head within 3 seconds. Are you done? That's not good enough. Do it again. Let's say there's a porn video of your favorite cosplay. Use your imagination. Come on. Say yes, sir, when you got it. Are you really military men, you maggots? Good. You all seem to have an image in your head now. Let's move on. Imagine your favorite cosplay is stripped entirely naked because of your stupid desire. Now think. If you take all their clothes off, that's not cosplay anymore, is it? That's why our video is rampant lately. It's just lamentable. Humans without clothes aren't civilized. They're animals. If only naked girls excite you, you are a pack of dogs, monkeys, or pheasants. Pack your bags and get out. Wait, get back here. As you know, a huge amount of Russian porn vids are going around lately thanks to the end of the Cold War. You know what? Get out of here! I heard that style called beautiful Russian schoolgirl is a combination of Japanese uniform fetish and some Russian things is emerging. Well, I'll never accept that! School uniforms are part of Japanese culture and art! Those stupid barbarians will never understand the Japanese spirit! Are you listening? You pathetic squid! Clench your teeth! I'll train you till you drop! I won't let you sleep until you're capable of perfecting your imagination skills! Here comes my whip! What the hell, Keiichi? What the hell? At that point, I heard a bustle of people running this way. Keiichi, what the fuck? Maibara, get it to people! I saw several kids running toward us. It seems like our backup had arrived. Ah, shit, let's get out of here! The three bucks had just been standing barricade. They started running away when they saw that many people. You're awesome, Maibara. You had those bugs transfixed all by yourself. One of them even had a nosebleed. You're so strong, Maibara. Whoa, it seems like my personal aura has grown more powerful. If this keeps up, I'll soon go surpass even Coach's made in heaven reality marble. Anyway, are you alright, Mion? The boy was apparently called Maibara. He turned around to face me. Even the way he mistook me for Mion sounded like Satoshi. But Satoshi isn't a pervert like him. I was anxious to see how you fight back, but I guess 3 guys are too many, huh? I don't believe it. I was still confused. I couldn't yet grasp the situation. Who was this guy? Mion has friends like him? I was still spacing out in shock, so I forgot to move until his hand touched my head. Well, you know, I'll forget that I saw you cry, so cheer up, okay? The boy called Maibara stroked my head roughly. It didn't feel good. It hurt, actually. But still, his hand had the same warmth. Later on, Mion told me about him. He was called Keiichi Maibara, Kei-chan for short. He's 1 grade below us. Not only that, but he just moved to Hinamizawa thanks to his attitude and lack of manners. He'd already become an idol in their class. Mion joyously explained all this. Sure, he sounded like a fun kid. I knew why Mion was into him, but Satoshi is way cooler. He wasn't worth stealing from Sis. Or was he? My heart throbbed. I was excited. It felt like I'd gotten a new toy. I was curious as to what kind of relationship Mion intended to build with him. I'd love to tease her about it. Thanks, Kei-chan. Let me buy you a drink. My uncle's restaurant is just nearby, so why don't we go there? Satoshi would refuse out of modesty. But Maibara Keiichi said okay within 2 seconds. Well then, I couldn't wait to tease the 2 of them. My boring life suddenly became bright again. Whoa! Hey, don't cling on to my arm! Oh, you don't like it? Well, I don't hate it, but it's just that they're touching me and... Oh, they bother you? Maibara Keiichi was fun. Mion thought the same way I did. She would always talk about him. I was happy for her. It made me smile. I guess Kei-chan is really your favorite, huh, sis? What's the most interesting thing about him? Let's see. To put it plainly, he's just funny. For example, a couple of days ago in the club, Mio really liked him, but didn't seem to think it was love yet. She's reserved in that area, so that was really like her. As for me, well, I didn't hate him, but my feelings weren't the same as Mion's. Kei-chan was just too childish compared to Satoshi. I wonder how Satoshi was doing. Was he waiting for things to cool down somewhere far away? The case had already been solved, though. That dopehead was the murderer. There's no reason for him to wait anymore. I shook my head. I shouldn't think about it too much. The way I know, the case was confidential, so the rest of the culprit hadn't been made public, so Satoshi hadn't realized he could come back. I know he's a little thick-headed. Maybe he's waiting for things to calm down until the end of time. But if so, couldn't he give a call to Sadako at least? He should tell her he's living in a faraway place, but that he'd be coming home soon. That stupid Sadako. She'd been living with Furude Rika since Satoshi went away, so nobody would pick up the phone even if he called. Stupid girl! Would you want your big brother to come home? Given Satoshi's personality, he wouldn't remember any phone numbers other than his home number, so he wouldn't be able to contact anybody in Hinamizawa. Maybe he's calling Sadako every night. He keeps ringing, but nobody picks up. And then he'd assume Sadako might be taking a bath or be in the restroom. He'd put on a puzzled smile and mumble, like always. I imitated his voice without realizing it. After that, what? What's up? Did you say something, Shio? I laughed it off and urged Mio to continue. I realized that her tone had changed. I hadn't been listening to her because I was thinking about Satoshi. I thought she was still happily talking about Kei-chan. But Mio sounded grim now. Her faint smile looked pitiful. It was too late to ask what was going on, so instead I concentrated on her story instead. After all that, Uncle gave everybody a doll as a thank you gift. Everybody except for me. Okay, except for you. I wanted one too, but I couldn't say it in front of everybody. You still can't express your needs, huh? And then Mion sniffled. I realized that she was on the verge of tears. The cutest doll was in Kei-chan's bag. And you wanted that doll? It didn't matter which one, but although Kei-chan knew I didn't get one, he didn't give it to me. He said the doll wouldn't fit me and that I should be born as a boy in my next life. That's what he said. That was Keiichi's weak point. He might be fun and popular, but he wasn't mature, not like Satoshi. I want to start all over. I want to go back to when I just met him and start all over. I want him to treat me like a girl from the beginning. Don't take it too seriously. It'll be okay, because it's just you who wants to start everything over, while he didn't even notice anything wrong. It'd be harder if you guys fought over it or something. Can I start over? If you didn't cry in front of him, it's not too late. You can cry as much as you want now, and if you show him a different side of you from tomorrow on, you can still fix it. Okay. I'm amazed how insensitive he is, but part of that is just the impression that you've been giving him so far. If you change your attitude from tomorrow on, you can still change his mind. How do I change my attitude? How? Well, if I tell you to act cute, you start going to school in frilly clothes. So don't think and just be natural, but without overdoing it. Pay attention to how you behave around him. And don't forget to be cautious of Rena. She's a bit ahead of you so far. Kei-chan might prefer Rena at this point. It's true. Rena's really girly. She's cute and caring. That just means you can't slack off for even a moment, sis, because you've got a rival. Tears can attract men, but they don't anchor them. You should always be smiling, but cry when it really counts. That's typically how you do it. Maybe I should try that on Kei-chan myself. No, don't! He's the boy you like, so I guess it's natural that I like him too. How can I attract him? Hey sis, why don't we have a competition over him? No, never! I'll kick you into orbit if you go near Hinamizawa. I'm happy for you, sis. It's not too late at all. It's important to you to know the distance between the boy you love and yourself, and shift the way you appeal to him to compensate. The boy I love is missing, you know? I don't even know where he is. or when he's coming back. Compared to that, you're very lucky. Mio was saying that she'd do her best from tomorrow with red, tearful eyes, but I sense a deeply negative feeling emerging inside me. Nobody was blaming Mio for being happy with Keiichi. I wasn't envious. I wasn't jealous. I didn't want her to be blamed the same way I was blamed. It was just that there was no space for Satoshi in Mion's mind anymore, filled as it was with Kei-chan and her other friends now. It didn't matter to her if Satoshi came back or not, just like how she didn't care if it was sunny or rainy tomorrow. What about me then? Had I been thinking about Satoshi all the time for the past year? I wasn't proud of my own answer. I'd become used to life without Satoshi. His absence didn't hurt me anymore. I was just getting used to life with Maibara Keiichi, and if I let my guard down, he might just fill up the space that I'd been saving for Satoshi. If Sonozaki Shion had prayed harder for Satoshi to return, he might have come home already. Where did Satoshi go? Last year, right after his disappearance, I paid close attention to the information circulating in the Sonozaki family and its underground connections. I frequently went to the police station to check with Oishi for new information. Even with all that, I couldn't get any new leads on his whereabouts. I eventually became interested in Oyashiro's curse which surrounded Satoshi's disappearance. I researched the dark history of the village. The more I looked into it, the less likely his survival seemed. I returned Mio's scrapbooks to her, and then I hadn't gone to the library since. I started a new life in a new school. I made new friends, and the same way as falling leaves cover the ground, I felt like I was losing sight of what was really important to me. It was already almost the end of spring. They said that summer was coming early and it'd be very hot this year. Normally it'd be the rainy season now, but we had no rain at all. The Watanagashi festival was right around the corner. It had almost been a year since Satoshi went missing. In Hinamizawa, they won't allow you to talk openly about Oyashiro's curse or the series of mysterious deaths, so everybody acts like the murder of Satoshi's aunt never happened. That's because Hojo Satoshi was a member of the family of traitors. He fell victim to Oyashiro's curse on the 4th year running. He was demoned away. Everybody was trying to forget about his existence and erase their memories of him. Don't make him disappear because of the curse. Don't erase his existence. Satoshi was living in Hinamizawa just a year ago. He went to school. He was an A student. He was a member of the Hinamizawa Fighters. He could never hit the ball when it really mattered. He was unreliable but pure. He was warm. Because of the curse, people made him disappear. They stopped mentioning his name and acted like he never existed. A new resident like Maibara Keiichi wouldn't even know him. He seriously believed that Satoshi had transferred out. I miss you, Satoshi. I want to go shopping with you again. I want to be in the baseball game with you again and get a cold drink afterwards. I want to tease you and I want you to stroke my head again. Your hand was so warm, I felt as if my whole body was being caressed. Satoshi. God. Shio. I haven't opened this notebook in a while. My feelings have been written down for over 150 pages. This notebook is the key to my heart. The other me who's been sleeping since last year is slowly waking up. Notebook page 150. She is totally jealous, by the way. I mean, that's obvious, so... I mean, it was... So, it's not just, like, the doll, in that sense.
I'm quite amazed by your dirty deeds, Keiichi. He is...
Wait. Oops, my bad. Let's try again.
I'm quite amazed by your dirty deeds, Keiichi. He is a boy after all. Mi-chan, Shi-chan, Keiichi looks confused. Oh.
Did you hear that, sis? We're not playing tug of war here. Are you trying to tear Kei-chan apart? I'm not playing tug of war. You're the one that's stretching him. Go back to Okino Miya, Shion. Okay, I will. Oops. I let go of Keiichi suddenly, so he and Sis flew off like a rubber band. Keiichi rolled on the ground while Sis was stuck in a bush head first. What lively people. See you, Kei-chan. Sis might assault me if I stick around any longer, so I'll get going. Oh, Shion, thanks for today. Forget it, I didn't do much. See you, Shion. His hand landed on my head. He stroked my head pretty roughly, but the warmth reminded me. Hey, excuse me, I'm going. See you, sis. Don't ever come here again! Rena, keep your eyes on her! Sadako, set traps! Rika, purify this area with salt! The warmth remained on top of my head. It felt ticklish and sore. I had to stop. I got off my moped and pushed that aching spot against a telephone pole. Sorry, Satoshi. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never forgot about you. I still remember you. I'm worthless without you. I can't stand living life without you because it's gray, cold, and boring. It's true. I can never smile because you aren't here. I can't. See you, Shion. Keiichi's face appeared in my mind. I recalled the touch of his hand stroking my head. It wasn't warm! I wasn't happy! It was rough and painful! I hate that insensitive guy! He's too childish, rude, and cold. He's like a stray dog! I wasn't happy! It wasn't warm! I wasn't happy or overjoyed at all! No! Satoshi! Oh my god, no. Satoshi mumbled. He didn't know what to say in a situation like this, but he knew that he had better say something. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say, so he just mumbled. I'm sorry, Shion. Why are you apologizing, Satoshi? I'm the one who should apologize. Even though I said I'd wait for you, even though I believed my heart wouldn't change. My heart is full of holes. You're leaking out from the small cracks in my heart, little by little. You're leaking out from me. Are you suffering because I'm here? Why? You're so precious to me, so don't say that! I've been here with you all this time, but I think I'm hurting you by continuing to exist. I don't want that. That's not true. No! Where have you been, Satoshi? You weren't with me! Tell me where you are! What's the address? What's the postal code? What's the name of the city? What's the street number? Tell me! There isn't an address. I knew it. Telling me you're always been with me. Always by my side. That's such a cliche. Would you prefer, Shion? If I can give you strength, I'll stay by your side forever. But if you're suffering because of me, I'll disappear right away. Don't say that. I want to be with you. Always. I want to be with you forever. Okay. I'll stay with you then. Shion is, I think she's imagining Satoshi. A car passed by. The noise snapped me out of my reverie. The sky was turning orange. I should get home before it gets cold. I should go home to Okinomiya. You're with me, right? Are you with me right now, Satoshi? I walked back to my moped. My feet sank to the grass. I stopped when I reached my bike, but then I heard an extra footstep. Oh, shit! I gasped. I could feel somebody else's presence. I'm not stupid. Nobody else was around here. Nobody had suddenly appeared behind me, so I wasn't surprised to find nobody when I turned around. But he was definitely still there. Satoshi! I couldn't see him, but he was there. He was there for me. Satoshi never lies. He said he'd be with me all the time. I'd just been too insensitive to feel his existence until now. Satoshi! A breeze tickled my hair. It felt cold, but to me it was nothing but the warmth of his hand. It took me a while to notice that my cheeks were wet with tears. Uh-oh. I think Shion's going crazy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. Uh-oh. Oh. Uh-oh. I was too scared to sleep. If I went to sleep, I might not find Satoshi there in the morning, so I kept talking to him until I passed out. I told him about what happened while he was missing. I told him that I realized how much I loved him after he went away. I searched for him, looking into various things. I gathered underground information through Kasai and bargained for information with Oishi. I couldn't find any leads, and a long time passed, but I kept thinking about him. Etc., etc. I told him all the small details from my daily life, the places I wanted to go with him, the things I wanted to do with him, the food I wanted to share with him, and I told him a lot of things. I was sitting up at first, but I got tired, so I laid down. I got tired of moving my mouth too, so I started talking to him in my mind. It was the happiest night I ever had. Sheesh. Oh my god. Just imagine... I can't say it right now, but... Dude. When I woke up, I didn't find Satoshi by my side. I knew it somehow. I was afraid of it. That's why I didn't want to go to sleep. But at least I got to see him for one night. Just when I resigned myself to that, I felt Satoshi's presence again. It wasn't a dream after all, I thank God. And so I began my strange new life with Satoshi. As promised, Satoshi was always by my side. He couldn't laugh, mumble, or stroke my head, but he was always with me. Always right by my side. He disappeared sometimes, but he'd come back when I looked for him. It seemed all I could hear was his footsteps. It's just the way it was. It was a bit sad, but I was still satisfied. His presence was really faint, so it was hard to sense him in a crowd, but he never left me. If he were tangible, I'd be taking his hand all the time, so he wouldn't be lost. In contrast, I could feel him very strongly in this quiet environment. Of course, I couldn't tell what his expressions were, because he was just a presence. Knowing the real answer is like completely different. But after I got used to it, I could tell what he was thinking. At first, I could only tell if he was laughing or not. Eventually, I started to feel his emotions more strongly. I could communicate with him normally. I was usually alone with him, though. I didn't want to go to school or hang out with my friends anymore, but Satoshi got upset about that. He kept mumbling unhappily. Now that I knew he'd always be with me, I shouldn't just stay home all the time. I was sticking to my time alone with him. However, because I was scared that he might suddenly disappear again, I wanted to make the most of the time I was sharing with him right now. I must have been worrying too excessively. Satoshi will always be by my side. Yeah, that was his promise. He never breaks his promises. I was fine because he was there. Of course I couldn't tell anybody about him, not even Sis. I could try to explain to them, but they never understand. But I was certain that he was with me, so I'd be alright. I never get fed up with life with him. He's really cute, you know. We always walk together, but when I stop, he always takes one extra step. That's so adorable. I love it. Notebook page 159. Okay, do you think it's actually Satoshi that is following Keiji? Or whenever there are footsteps? Because that's kind of weird, y'all. I'm not gonna... I mean, I can understand Shion's thing. So I'm not... Just let her be happy. God damn it. Shion, Shion, what are you going to do on Watanagashi this year? I guess I'll have some fun at the festival. Maybe I'll tease Sis and her friends. I wanted to go to the festival with Satoshi. I knew he'd like to see me having fun with everybody. He might get jealous if I play with Kei-chan. But Satoshi isn't very sensitive in that way. Satoshi loved to see me and my friends have fun, so I should have a lot of fun for his sake. Then I'd talk about the day with him later. How are you going to Hinamizawa? I can give you a ride if you want. I'm taking my moped, so you don't have to. That won't do. Aren't you going to the family party afterward? I can't let you drive under the influence. He won't let me drive, but he's kind enough to let me drink. Alright, take me then. Good. Let's leave before nightfall. I'll come to pick you up around that time. After Kasai left, I sensed that Satoshi was excited about going to the festival. Watanagashi, huh? So, it's almost been a year since you went away. Satoshi seemed confused. I bet you're going all right now, aren't you? We laughed together. Welcome! Here's your net in a bowl! Great! Wow, these fish are so active. They look delicious. I could eat this little one raw right here. Huh?
What are you saying, Neon? Mi-chan, you eat goldfish? Did you eat the one I gave you last year too?
No, I didn't say that! Sis shook her head hard. She turned all red. But you just said it. You said they look delicious. I heard it too. Sis eats everything as long as it fits inside her mouth.
If it's really good, I'll try it once.
No, you can't, Rika! You're going to get sick! Wait a minute. Hey, you. How long have you been here, Shion? Hi, Keisha, Sis, and everyone else. Good evening! Oh! When did you get here, Shion? I've been here since you were at the chow mein booth. I found you guys quickly since you guys were making so much noise. Hey! You're not in our club! Get lost! Don't be mean, sis. Right, Keishan? You're fine if I come with you guys, right? I took Keishan's arm and held it between... Oh. We were going to have a ball. I went around the booths with Sis and her friends. I joked around and laughed out loud. I teased Keishan and Sis too. Keishan was at the center of the group, so if I did something to him, it was naturally involved everybody else. It looked like Satoshi was having a hard time finding his own spot in the crowd. When I glanced at him in a quiet moment, he smiled and told me to have fun without worrying about him. If he were tangible, I'd pull out his arm to join the crowd. It made me sad I couldn't do that. I bumped into somebody's shoulder. It was obviously my fault, so I apologized right away. As it turned out, it was somebody I knew. Oh, it looks like you're having fun. Good evening, Shion. The moon looks beautiful tonight, doesn't it? Oh, it's been forever, Takano. And you were... Oops, it's Mio. Mio. It's okay, I don't care. Nice to meet you. I'm Tomitake. I heard you were Mio's twin sister. Nice to meet you too, Tomitake. I heard you were a great cameraman. Please take a picture of me someday. I'm just an amateur dreaming of going professional. Well, you're actually great, Jiro. You're good at many things. No, I need to study more. I have no talent, so I have to put a lot of effort to compensate. They must have been in a relationship. You two look so happy together. Am I interrupting you two? Oh no, I appreciate your consideration, but you're not interrupting us at all. And you can call me Miho like before. Not Takano. It's a bit hard for me to call someone older than me by her first name. Well, never mind. I smiled bashfully and Takano smiled back elegantly. I haven't seen you in the library since. I wanted to talk to you more as a fellow researcher. Well, when I feel like it. A fellow researcher? Are you interested in it too, Shion? I mean, in the legend of this village. Tomitake raised his eyebrows. As far as I knew, Takano's hobby wasn't exactly normal. On the surface, his research dealt with the cultural history of Hinamizawa, but its main focus was the Watanagashi festival from the ancient times, the cannibal banquet in which they captured and gutted a living sacrifice. Her research covered various stories surrounding that and other legends of cruelty. It was nothing if not gory. That was where her main interest lay. So I didn't feel comfortable being called a fellow researcher, to be honest, but objectively speaking, her research notes were fun to read. It was then when I heard the loud booms of the taiko drums. The main event of the Watanagashi festival, the dedication dance, was about to start. According to Takano's hypothesis, part of the dance, where the shrine maiden tears open a futon mat, represents gutting a living victim. It's starting. I should head over. Aren't you guys coming to see Rika's performance? Tomitake looked bewildered. Did that mean he wasn't coming? Oops. Takano giggled and whispered something in my ear. To tell you the truth, we're thinking of sneaking into the ritual storehouse. She made it sound like she was going to do something fun, but it wouldn't be amusing to anyone who knew what the ritual storehouse was. The ritual storehouse, or the storehouse for the ritual implements, is sort of a treasure house belonging to the Furude Shrine. Okay, we know that. The Saiguden with the Saigu and stuff. Okay, yes. I didn't like being around it myself. I was familiar with the curses. Even though I didn't believe in curses, I still didn't want to be near it. Nothing good can come from breaking the rules. Were they still going to enter the ritual storehouse despite all that? I'm pretty sure it's tightly locked. Oops. Oops, okay. Okay, yes. I'm pretty sure it's tightly locked. It was until last year. Rika had the heavy bolt changed to a cheap padlock because the bolt was too heavy for her to lift. Did you know that? No, but even if it's cheap, it's still locked up, isn't it? Jiro is very skilled. Oh, are you good at lockpicking? Since the Watanagashi ritual starts, everybody will gather around the stage, right? And the area around the storehouse will be completely devoid of people. Tonight this place will be a blind spot. Can't see the forest for the trees, I suppose. Okay. Why don't you join us in a bit? It's now or never. So maybe I'll see you then. Takano, what are you telling her? Just girl talk. Let's go to some dark place for a quick date. Huh? Takano walked against the flow of the crowd alongside Tomitake. The ritual storehouse, huh? It was supposedly filled with torture tools. Considering what they had in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki house, that's quite possible. Satoshi fell victim to the curse in the 4th year. His aunt's death was the sign. Okay, yes, we know that. I wanted to still believe Satoshi was alive. If her hypothesis is correct, either some religious fanatic or somebody from the 3 families must be imitating the curse in order to revive the ancient custom of Onigafuchi. That would mean that it was them who killed Satoshi. So what if the ritual storehouse was filled with garbage instead of torture implements? Maybe it was filled with broken palanquins or freshly painted signboards for the festival. What then? It wasn't really hard for me to believe that it was filled with the chemical smell of paint. Maybe I'll get to deny the hypothesis that Satoshi was sacrificed by seeing the inside of the ritual storehouse for myself. Whatever was in there, it didn't mean that Satoshi would come back. What should I do, Satoshi? Since most people went to see Rika's ritual dance, the festival grounds were deadly quiet. Even so, I couldn't sense Satoshi. Did he go somewhere, or was I not paying attention? Maybe he wasn't feeling any emotions in particular. After thinking for a while, I decided to go in with them. It had been almost a year since Satoshi's disappearance. I've been avoiding the truth because I was afraid he might be dead, but now I had a chance. I had a chance to see the inside of the ritual storehouse. I felt as though something divine had arranged that coincidence. On my way to the storehouse, I noticed Keiichi. He was jumping up and down trying to see Rika's dedication dance over people's shoulders. If I took him along, we could split the guilt. Oyashiro might put a curse on me for entering his divine storehouse. I wanted a partner in crime. Since the boy I loved disappeared last year because of the curse, maybe Mion's love should disappear this year. Uh-oh. Whoa, what am I thinking? That must have been the demon inside of me. I shook the thought out of my head. What's going on, Shion? Where's the best place to see Rika's dance from? Is it far? Huh? I never said I was going to show you that. We made it to the ritual storehouse. Keiichi was baffled by the whole situation. Our timing had been perfect. I could see Tomitake picking the lock. Even though Keiichi must have been curious, he insisted that we shouldn't go in. But I talked him into it anyway. He was quick to change his mind when Tomitake joined in. It was completely dark inside, so Takano lit a battery-powered lantern. A small entry space appeared before us. It's so dark in here. Take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano closed the door with a smile as if leading Tomitake out on purpose. Man, alright everyone, have fun. As soon as the heavy door was closed, we were surrounded by a quiet darkness. All we could rely on was Takano's lantern. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with a backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Takano teased Keiichi a little. Keiichi in turn looked a little pale. He seemed to be able to recognize the sanctity of the building even though he wasn't from Hinamizawa. Let's go in. Here we go. There. After Takano opened the heavy inner door, a dusty foul smell flowed out. It was like the smell of a pantry that hadn't been opened in years and the smell of a fish market mixed together. I didn't know exactly how to describe it, but it was a bad smell. From listening to the echo of our footsteps, I could tell the room was much bigger than the one we were just in. When Takano raised her lantern, I could clearly see just how big it was. At the far side of the wall, there was a statue of some kind of god staring down at us intruders. The way it was lit by the lantern gave it a powerful appearance, and it scared me. That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, Oyashiro. I looked at the statue, which was holding its religious ornament. If Satoshi's disappearance really was a curse, I couldn't forgive this god. I found myself irritated by the way the statue looked down at me. Damn you, Oyashiro. If you really made Satoshi disappear, I'll never forgive you. Never! Keiichi didn't seem to understand the significance of the storehouse. He looked bored. Takano noticed that and took out her scrapbook to show him the brutal history of ancient Hinamizawa. I heard that story already, so I decided to walk around by myself. Since I knew the significance of all these tools, I felt a little nauseated. Though they certainly wouldn't jump out to me, I still found them intimidating. They looked as if they were craving for fresh blood after not being used for hundreds of years. All the tools looked similar to the ones I saw underground at the Sonozaki main house. If those tools were progenies of torture implements, these would be their ancestors. All the implements here looked old, so I doubt they could really be used. They weren't kept maintained like the ones at the Sonozaki house. So did that mean they shouldn't scare me? No, on the contrary. They told me the cruel rituals were indeed performed in this village at one point. Now that I found scary. What Takano told me was the truth. When I stopped, Satoshi also stopped behind me one step later. I felt no emotional change in Satoshi. I couldn't tell if he was feeling something or not. I knew he was there, but had no idea how he was feeling. I felt scared of him for the first time. If he could answer me, I'd want to ask him, "Who demoned you away?" "Are you listening, Satoshi?" I couldn't tell if he heard me or not. He left as if he didn't hear anything. I could tell he'd been sulky ever since he got here. I suddenly felt lonely, so I looked for him while walking around. I realized that there was an altar in front of the statue. He might be there. It was a clean altar, an altar ornamented with religious artifacts. It was kept well maintained. I saw no dust. That would mean, well, the flowers in the vase weren't wilting. I saw a pretty handkerchief underneath the vase. I took out the place amongst everything else. I was fairly certain it was Furude Rika's handkerchief. That would mean the storehouse is maintained daily. It wasn't a forgotten ruin, buried in dust. So the brutality that dwelled in this ritual storehouse is still alive and well in Hinamizawa. That's right. Something as ambiguous as Oyashiro's curse is nothing more than a simple delusion of the villagers. As Takano said, everything that happens in this world is done by humans. I accused Oyashiro of deeming away Satoshi, but Oyashiro is just a statue made of bronze or wood. It's nothing but an icon. There are, however, human beings who would try to make that icon seem real. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is a result of human action. It shouldn't be called Oyashiro's curse. If Satoshi was the fourth year's victim, and he was victimized by a human being who was just acting a part of the curse, the person who demoned away Satoshi must not be very far from me. The truth behind Satoshi's disappearance was not so far from my grasp. I was startled by the sound. It sounded like somebody had dropped something. I looked over at Takano and Keiichi. Takano was still lecturing him. Did she drop her scrapbook or something? The sound came from right behind me, not from them. I never heard Satoshi do that. It sounded like somebody was stomping on the floor in frustration. What is it? The sound continued, ignoring my question. Though I heard it right nearby, it sounded as though a child was hopping on the wooden floor somewhere distant. What's wrong, Satoshi? Are you angry about something? I couldn't read his expressions. I thought he was mad, but I didn't sense any emotion coming from him at all. Was he mad that I touched the altar? Maybe you weren't supposed to do that. It's not that I've been able to communicate with Satoshi in a concrete way. I just talked to him. I was never expecting him to react like that. I didn't sense a willingness to communicate from this creepy sound. A chill ran up my spine. I felt as if all my pores were opening. I've been thinking it was Satoshi stomping on the floor. Hey, you're Satoshi, aren't you? The sound stopped when I asked that. It wasn't a yes or a no, just silence. Satoshi wouldn't scare me like that. I suddenly realized that sound hadn't come from Satoshi. A cold shiver shot through my feet and I sprung a step backward. The sound had come right there. Even though I jumped back, it was still a few meters away. Satoshi would sometimes let me hear his footsteps when I walked. But if that wasn't Satoshi, then there was no guarantee that I hear its footsteps, so that invisible being could already be right in front of my eyes and I just wouldn't see it. I forgot everything and ran, straining my ears as much as possible for any sound, listening for any footsteps pursuing me. I ran right into Keiichi and clung to him, timidly turning her back to look. The dimly lit area before the altar was quiet, like nothing was happening. But seeing that chilling dark stillness, I realized it was just that space. It made me even more frightened just now. "What's up, Shion? Did you get scared?" Keiichi made fun of me. Even though he looked horrified just a little while ago, he's now satisfied to see me scared too. "I know girls tend to get freaked out by haunted houses. Well, I don't mind it. Anyway, let's go, before Takano leaves us behind." I pretended to be fine, but I wasn't sure I was able to hide my fear entirely. The footsteps were chasing me. They were outside the illumination of the lantern, as if they couldn't go into the light. The presence never left us, however. It followed us like a fourth member of the party. Sometimes it made a stomping sound, as if wanting some recognition, but neither Takano nor Keiichi seemed to notice it. It was possible for Takano to be ignoring it, but Keiichi would never ignore it. He could hear it. He would have said something. So just like with Satoshi, only I could hear it. What was this thing that was making me so scared? Was it Satoshi in a bad mood? Was it the presence I believed to be Satoshi might not have been him at all? What are you upset about, Satoshi? Tell me if I did something wrong, I'll apologize. Ugh. If you aren't Satoshi, then where did he go? When did you take his place? Ugh. I'm gonna have to put flash warnings. Shion, are you alright? Huh? I'm fine. You look pale, though. Then I appreciate if you didn't stretch my clothes too much. Oh, sorry. Oh, am I interrupting you too? I decided to engage in the conversation to help myself ignore the sound from behind. I didn't hear the sound as much, and it became much more distant. Yeah, I shouldn't pay any attention to it. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't hear it. I should just ignore the noise. Takano, you're researching whether those customs survive into the present. You are right. Uh-oh. What I'm about to tell you is a secret, all right. I told you, Shion, because you're an understanding person. But the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished. She smiled like me, like a witch. A witch! Man. My bar, you keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer Oyashiro's curse, or be made into a sacrifice. If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's the sacrifice, then will I have been thrown into the Onigofuji swamp while still alive? And it is tonight, you know, the night of Oyashiro's curse. It certainly is. If the curse strikes for a fifth time, it'll happen tonight. Takano pulled out an old scrapbook from her paper bag and started turning the pages. She opened it to the page with one article. It was an article about the brutal murder of the Watanagashi victim. It happened in the Meiji era. This is a story that actually happened. It was around the end of the Meiji era. They discovered an unknown mangled corpse, the victim of the murder in Onigofuji village. Never before has there been such a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. You guys seriously don't hear that? It's freaking loud! How can you not hear it? Hell, it's freaking noisy. Cut it out already! The next moment, all we heard was a squeaking noise. We turned around in surprise. It was just Tomitake opening the door. Did I startle you? Oh, Jiro, could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano laughed as if making fun of Tomitake for being such a scaredy cat. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over, and everybody's going down to the river. The festival as a whole will be over within minutes. Time was up. I never expected that Tomitake would save me from this nightmare. His face suddenly looked heroic. Oh, Keiichi, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. I went into the entry room and turned around. Takano was still taking photos in a mad rush, though our time was up. I didn't hear that sound anymore. I didn't feel that presence. I didn't feel Satoshi either, but somehow I wasn't too sad about that. Even if he followed me out here, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was really him or somebody else. Oh ho 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 ho! And remember, Tomitake said he heard a sound of a child jumping over and over again too, so he and both Shion actually heard it. Okay, so we got some tips. Notebook pages. So we're going to save. Let's read the tips. Notebook page 172. That underground torture chamber is officially called the Underground Ritual Storehouse. So do torture room and ritual storehouse mean the same thing, Saiguden? According to Takano's theory, bloody rituals, including Watanagashi, have been passed down among the three families even after the Meiji era. The rituals are always ready to be performed. Their form of worship always revolved around torture. So Hinamizawa's history involved a great deal of human slaughter. Takano's theory is correct. The underground storehouse at the Sonozaki house looked well maintained. Oops. Takano was right about that too. Since the Sonozaki family and the Furude family both have ritual storehouses, the Kimiyoshi family must have one too. After all, these ancient and brutal customs are still handed down through generations. I should remain armed with the knowledge and occult events are still secretly being performed in this cursed village. Page 173. The sanctity of the ritual storehouse is one of the most prominent elements in the worship of Oyashiro. Of course I knew that since I'm originally from Hinamizawa, but violating that sanctity is actually a more serious problem than I thought. Takano's research shows the history of the ritual storehouse goes way back. The ritual implements long have been viewed as inviolable objects, which is why it was strictly forbidden to enter. Takano's theory says that Watanagashi was once a public execution, performed to stabilize the reign of the three families rather than a purely religious ritual. If so, the ritual could hardly be called sacred. Under those circumstances, the implements should have been despised as symbols of hatred and fear. When the instruments of fear are too visible, it only creates a reign of terror. But they keep them as hidden as possible, and they gain divinity. Many said they become tainted if laymen touch them. The only reason for that was to preserve their false prestige through secrecy, since they would lose their sanctity if revealed before the common folk. In other words, the true identity of the ritual storehouse, sacredness, was fear. That was the true emotion ruling over this village. Notebook page 179. The reason why Takano and Tomitake were cursed is because they broke into the ritual storehouse. I don't know how the villagers found out about it. Maybe somebody was watching. Maybe there was an anti-theft alarm. Either way, our intrusion must have been reported to the highest level of the curse system. That is because considering the distance between the village and the site where Takano's body was found. She must have been killed right after we came out of the ritual storehouse. It was done very quickly. It's possible that a special assassination team exists for this purpose, or the plan had been set up a long time ago. They might have been the secret agents of the Sonozaki family, but the latter sounds valid. But if so, who would have been the victim if nobody broke into the ritual storehouse? Okay, so remember we learned that Takano's body was discovered dead for 24 hours, and they were hanging out with Takano's dead corpse all day in the ritual storehouse, which was creepy. Remember that. Okay, so it's about an hour or whatever. I'd say we end it for tonight, because afterward things start to get a little twisted, you know? It starts all spiraling. So, alright, thank you very much. Goodbye.